Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Samantha Leighanne and I talk about books. So, like a week ago, I went through and filmed a bookshelf tour and I hated the way that it turned out. Like, I did not like it at all. I'm having trouble figuring out the logistics of a bookshelf tour. So, here's what we're gonna do. I am going to take a second and I'm gonna talk about my shelves and how I arrange things. And then I took to Twitter last night and I had you guys post a set of numbers. The first 1 through 15, the second 1 through 40. And each of those corresponds to the first, a number shelf, the second, the number book on that shelf. Basically, it's just a way for me to like highlight some of the books on my shelves that like maybe you guys don't regularly see, or maybe that you haven't seen because maybe I haven't read them yet. I have read roughly half of the books that are on the shelf. So, I mean, I'd say that we're doing pretty good, but you know, it's been some years that it's taken me to do that. So like chances are some of the books that are on here, you haven't really seen a whole ton of. So how do I arrange my bookshelves? I arrange my shelves by genre, okay? I have, all the way at the top that you can't see, I have my classics. So up there I have my box set of the Chronicles of Narnia. I have Lord of the Rings, Jane Eyre. I have my Agatha Christie, Beautiful Rainbow, which you will see, as well as just like some magazines and that kind of thing. This shelf up here actually houses most of my fantasy and or sci-fi works. This shelf over here is a mixture of horror and thrillers. Down here, once again, we have horror and thrillers. Down here, we have mostly horror. You can all see that these two shelves here are my Stephen King shelves. Underneath here, which again, you can't see, we have more horror and the rest of my Stephen King. On the other side, we have a lot of contemporary, mostly Book of the Month editions, but it is mostly contemporary. Underneath that, we have historical fiction and mostly historical fiction. Underneath that, we have more contemporary. On the other side, this side is some historical fiction and diverse authors. And then the very bottom on the other one is my YA shelf. So yeah, so that's really how I arrange my books. I don't like alphabetize, I don't color code, I don't do anything of that, just because I'm such a mood reader and like I know what I'm in the mood for. So it's like, I want a heavy contemporary, this is the shelf that I need to look at. I want a horror or thriller, this is the shelf that I need to look at. So that's why I arrange things the way that I do. So I mean, like going back and forth to my list here as I'm pulling books. So the first is number 7 and number 23. So the first book that I pull is like a book that you guys have seen recently, and that is Daisy Jones and the Six. I have a physical copy of this book, but honestly, I would never recommend anybody read it as a physical book because the audiobook is so superior. It's honestly a really good book. I couldn't stop thinking about this book. I rated it 4 stars and then I upped it to 5 because I liked it so much. About a band in like the 70s, like late 60s, early 70s, something like that. It's just like, I really loved it. If that sounds like something that's interesting, listen to the audio. Shelf 4, number 4. Shelf 4, book 4 is I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh. This is a really good like thriller, but it's like a quiet thriller. It does deal with domestic abuse and child abuse as well, so know that that's a thing, but this book was really, really good. I think I recommended this in my favorite thrillers as well. Really enjoyed this one. Shelf 7 and number 7. So 7 is this one. That is Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. I have not seen the miniseries from this book, but I really enjoyed the book. This is a book that deals very heavily with family and like secrets, racism, and a couple of other things. I really liked this book. I've seen some people say that it wasn't very good, but I really liked this book. There was a lot going on, again, like Little Fires Everywhere, but I thought that it was really good. This and her other book, Everything I Never Told You, both excellent. Next is 2 and 22. That is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I really liked this book, honestly. I never saw the film. I think that Sharp Objects is probably my favorite book of hers. I do hate how once this book was published and everybody read it, every thriller was then labeled as the next Gone Girl. But I thought that this was really well done. And one of the things that I really love about her writing is that she writes fucked up women characters so well. Like, she just does such a good job at it. Like, I just appreciate that about her writing. This is actually a book, like, even though I know what the twist is or whatever, I've really wanted to go and reread it just because I really enjoy her writing style and her characters. So I'm eventually gonna reread some of her books. Shelf 12, number 4. So that book is The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making by Catherine M. Valente. I haven't quite finished the series yet. It's a series of, I think, 4 or 5, but I really love it. One of the things that I love about the way that she writes the series is because, yes, it's a fantastical setting. It's fairyland, right? That's, obviously fantastical. But the way that she writes it with adults in mind. Like, they're just like these nuggets of wisdom that still hold true as an adult, and I just really loved that about the way that she wrote the series. I think I still have 2 more books left to read. It takes a minute to like really get into the writing itself, but it's really fun. It's really whimsical. Like, I recommend, especially if you like fairy tale stories. I just want to take a second and appreciate the fact that I have read every book so far. Granted, we're only like 5 in, but that's fine. 9 and 18, 1, 2, 3. I love that I literally said that, and then the very next book that I pull is one that I haven't read. Gods of Howell Mountain by Taylor Brown. I think that this is about bootlegging, maybe? I don't remember. Yes. Explores a world of folk healers, whiskey runners, and dark family secrets in the high country of 1950s North Carolina. Look at me remembering things. Bootlegger Rory somebody has returned home to the fabled mountain of his childhood, a misty wilderness that holds its secrets close and keeps the outside world at gunpoint. Slowed by a wooden leg and haunted memories of the Korean War, Rory runs bootleg whiskey for a powerful mountain clan in a retrofitted 40s Ford coupe. Between deliveries to roadhouses, brothels, and private clients, he lives with his formidable grandmother, evades federal agents, and stokes the wrath of a rival runner. In the mill town, at the foot of the mountains, a hotbed of violence, moonshine, and the burgeoning sport of stock car racing, Rory is bewitched by the mysterious daughter of a snake-handling preacher. His grandmother, Maybelline Granny May somebody, I can't say that last name, opposes this match for her own reasons, believing some things are best left buried. A folk healer whose powers are rumored to rival those of a wood witch, she concocts potions and cures for the people of the mountain while harboring an explosive secret about Rory's mother, the truth behind her long confinement in a mental hospital, during which time she has not spoken one word. When Rory's life is threatened, Granny May must decide whether to reveal what she knows or protect her only grandson from the past. That sounds interesting. All right. 13 and 38. So that's all the way up at the top. So 1, 2, 3. This is my edition of The Two Towers. I don't need to tell you what this is about because this is this is Lord of the Rings trilogy. So you already know what this is about. Let's be real. I really love these editions. These were a gift from Jeff, I'm pretty sure. But they are really beautiful and I love them. And yes, I've read it. So 726 and 727. Let's see here. 726 is The Far Field. The Far Field. I have not read this one. An elegant, epic debut from a tremendous new talent. The Far Field follows one young woman's search for a lost figure from her childhood, a journey that carries her from southern India to Kashmir and to the brink of a devastating political and personal reckoning. I'm not going to read the rest of it, but I've heard very positive things about this book. So I'll get to it eventually. And 727 is BookTube Darling, The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I read The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt and I didn't hate it. There were things, like it was really long, but like the core story was pretty decent. But I hear amazing things about this all the time. I honestly don't know why I haven't read it. And I think when I do eventually read it, because it's enormous, I'm probably gonna listen to the audio. This is definitely a BookTube Darling, but again, I hear it's really good, so. Next is 437 and 427. So this happens to be one where the books that I have on the shelf are bigger, so I have less So it said 27 and 37 because I gave numbers between 1 and 40. So this actually only has 28 books on the shelves. So I'm going to go with the last one and then actually number 27. Number 27 is The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. I loved this thriller. I thought it was fucking great. They've since written 2 other thrillers together that I didn't love anywhere near as much as I love this one right here. This was a book that made you believe that it was going to be one thing, and then it ended up swerving me at the end. This is the one out of the 3 that they've written together, which was An Anonymous Girl, You Are Not Alone, and this one. I recommend this one, definitely. And then the other one is The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. I actually really liked this one. This is a like mystery thriller with a supernatural element to it. It's told in like a dual perspective. So you have like the original girls who were at this girls' school in the 50s. And then you also have 2014, a journalist, her sister was killed like on the property of the girls' school like 20 years prior to that, and she's always been trying to figure out like what happened. Supernatural element, I really liked it. I thought it was good. This and her other book that I've read, Sundown Motel, are both really good. So the next one is the first book on the first shelf, and that is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. I loved this book. There is a lot going on. It's told in like multiple perspectives, but it's also told in like a second person perspective, which can be a little bit jarring if you've never read it before. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you what the book is about. Just know I really loved it. It's the Broken Earth trilogy, which I have not read all of yet, and I really need to, but I want to go back and reread this first. Also, I read half of it and listened to half of it. The audiobook's really good. Again, I've read most of these books and I'm really proud of it. 12 and 22. An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I've heard really good things about this. I haven't read it yet. It's on the YA shelf because I was out of room everywhere else. That's where I have the most room right now, so that's where it went. I don't know that I could tell you what it's about. Yeah, I can't tell you what this is about, but it's been recommended to me a couple of times. I think it's like kind of a futuristic contemporary or something. I'm probably wrong about that. Whoops, but yeah, so. 5 and 36. That's one of my Stephen King shelves, and that's The Dark Half. I've never read The Dark Half. Look at that author photo. Look at that young king. I don't know what The Dark Half is about. I'm terrible. I'll eventually pick them back up again. I'm trying to get caught up in the King Chronicles before I read any more Stephen King. Except for this one, because this just came in and I'm pumped to read it. I don't know what it's about, but I know that people like this one. So there you go. 9 and 22. The Queen's Vow by C.W. Gortner. This is a historical fiction, and I think I've read this one. I have not read this one. Have I read this one? Y'all, if I've read this book and don't remember, it's gonna be real bad. Hold on. I know I've read several C.W. Gortner books, but I don't think I've read this one. Oh, no, okay. I thought that I was gonna feel like shit because I'd read it and didn't remember it, but no, I haven't read this one. It's about Queen Isabella of Castile, which is, I've not read any books about her specifically. I've read a couple books about her daughters, Catherine of Aragon, as well as her sister. Whoa, I can't remember her name, but I've not read any about her. So that'll be interesting. Next are 325, 310, and 313. Oh, fuck. Okay, 310 is actually Nosferatu by Joe Hill. However, you can see that it's all the way down here. And I'm gonna be real with you, I don't want to pull that out because it's gonna be such a pain in the ass to get back in. And I'm lazy, so I'll just have this book cover on the screen for you right now and tell you how much I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I have also seen parts of the miniseries and I enjoyed it, but the book's definitely better, for sure. Christmas Land, it's fun, it's a good read. It's one of my favorites by Joe Hill, actually. Oh, fuck, you guys have seen this book lately. House of Leaves, I still haven't picked it up yet. Maybe one day. Look at the formatting. I'm so scared of it. Number 25 is a novelization of the film The Omen by David Seltzer. Y'all know what The Omen is about. It's about Damien, the demon child. I've seen the film. I haven't read the novelization, so it's one that I haven't read. I'll read it eventually. 1032. And that is Becoming Madame Mao by Anchi Min. I know that this takes place obviously in Maoist China. Anchi Min is a phenomenal writer. I have loved all the books that I've read by her. Red Azalea, which is kind of like her memoir, is so good. So good. Formatting is a little bit hard to get through, but it's so good. I haven't read this one. The extraordinary novel tells the stirring, erotically charged story of Madame Mao, the woman almost universally known as the White Bone Demon, whom many hold directly responsible for the excesses of the Cultural Revolution. Bringing her lush psychological insight to bear on the facts of history, Min penetrates the myths surrounding this woman and provides a convincing, nuanced portrait of a damaged personality, driven by ambition, betrayal, and a never-to-be-fulfilled need to be loved. With all the compressed drama and highly lyrical poetry of a great opera, becoming Madame Mao is a remarkable accomplishment. I love her writing. I'm really looking forward to reading this one eventually. 719 and 721. Dead Letters by Kate Dolan Leach. This is a thriller. Ava Antipova has her reasons for running away. A failing family vineyard, a romantic betrayal, a mercurial sister, an absent father, a mother slipping into dementia. In Paris, Ava renounces her terribly practical undergrad degree, acquires a French boyfriend and a taste for much better wine, and erases her past. 2 years later, she must return to upstate New York. Her twin sister Zelda is dead. Even in a family of alcoholics, Zelda was a wild one, notorious for her mind games and destructive behavior, stuck tinny, blah, 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 blah. Her sister disappears and left her clues, and so she has to find her sister. That sounds interesting. And the very last one is The Heart's Invisible Furies by John Boyne. And I have heard amazing things about this one. This is one of James's favorite books, and I have wanted to read it for a long time. Me and Ashley and James have been talking about buddy reading this together, so hopefully one day we'll actually start it. It's a chunker, and I do have the audiobook of it as well, because I feel like as big as this is, I'm going to need to read part of it in audio. I've not read anything by this author. So the synopsis, Cyril Avery is not a real Avery, or at least that's what his adoptive parents tell him. How shitty is that? And he never will be, but if he isn't a real Avery, then who is he? Born out of wedlock to a teenage girl, cast out from her rural Irish community and adopted by a well-to-do, if eccentric Dublin couple via the intervention of a hunchback redemptorist nun, Cyril is adrift in the world, anchored only tenuously by his close friendship with the infinitely more glamorous and dangerous Julian Woodbead. At the mercy of fortune and coincidence, he will spend a lifetime coming to know himself and where he came from, and over his many years will struggle to discover an identity, a home, a country, and much more. In this, Boyne's most transcendent work to date, we are shown the story of Ireland from the 1940s to today through the eyes of one ordinary man. The Heart's Invisible Furies is a novel that sparks both laughter and tears while reminding us all the redemptive power of the human spirit. So this is one of those like heavy contemporaries that I know that I'm just going to love. So again, James and Ashley, if you're watching this, when are we going to read this together? So that's it, you guys. That's just kind of a sampling of some of the books that I have on my shelves. Cool, right? Before we get to the end card, you guys will actually get to see like close-ups of my shelves and those types of things. Have you read any books on my shelves? Do you see any of your favorite books? Do you see any books that maybe I should skip? Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Yeah, until I can figure out like a better way to do a bookshelf tour, this is just gonna have to work because just the way that I tried to do it didn't work, so sorry. But yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's all I have for you guys today. Again, if you wish to discuss, you can comment down below. You can also get at me on Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram. All of those things can be found in the down bar below. If this is your first time here, hi, hello, and welcome. If you like what you see and you want to see more, you can click thumbs up. You can click subscribe if you haven't already, and you can click the little bell icon to be notified whenever I upload and such. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.